We are the original Saturday Menudo Club, except no substitutes. Ya no más.
Hi, I am Elsa. You are watching the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast with host Carmen Cavazos and co-host Andy Valadez. Please like, share, follow, and visit SaturdayMenudoClub.com. Ya no más. Stay hungry, my friends.
All right, we're back at the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast. I'm your co-host, Andy Valadez, here with Carmen Cavazos, the hostess with the mostest for the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast. Here we are, Carmen, doing another ZoomCast. Can you believe that?
Andy, these patriots just keep on blowing us out of the water with the information they're sharing. You don't want to miss this one.
There should be a law against having this much fun. So you and I served in the Marine Corps. We swore an oath that never expires. And so now we're using our voice in the airwaves to push back the darkness and to expand and export patriotism. The Saturday Menudo Club, we started off with just a gathering of friends and family. And then we started to bring in leaders to talk about the issues of the day. We've gotten into entrepreneurship. We've gotten into faith. We've talked about community leaders, politicians, you name it. There's no subject off the table. We'll stir the pot. But we never, ever serve the menudo too early. And it's always original and authentic.
Spicy and at the right temperature. We have a great guest today, someone who we as fellow Marines consider, a veteran who is sworn to protect and serve our country. And we always, always want to promote someone who will uphold the Constitution and inform our constituents. So we have a great person that we are about to interview. So hang on tight, and here we go. So our next guest is going to be Mr. Kurt Schwab. And he has some great information that he wants to share with y'all. We're going to find out who he is, what he's running for, and why you want to elect him next into the United States Congress. So here we go. Mr. Kurt, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your military service, a little bit about why and what motivated you to sign up and be on the ballot?
Hey, y'all. Thank you for having me on. This is a great opportunity, and I get to meet new friends. So thank you for that. I served in the Air Force for 18 years. I did 3.5 active, and the rest I was a full-time reservist. I was primarily a loadmaster on C-130s. I've got 2,000 hours of flight time, 300 hours of combat time, all in Iraq and Afghanistan. Missed the job. It was a great job. My entire life started out with me being a police officer, and then I went into the military. Then I was a assistant director and director for the USO, both at St. Louis Airport and Fort Leonard Wood Army Post in Missouri, being a published author and now running a veterans organization. So with all of that said, I have always helped people. That's just my thing.
Yeah.
By running for U.S. Congress, this gives me a bigger platform to help more people.
Absolutely. And, a term that I hold near and dear to my heart is a servant's heart. And with your background, starting out as a police officer, committing yourself to enter into the service, doing, like you said, some tours overseas, that shows your commitment to protect and serve. And what other excellent place to demonstrate that than in Congress, where you would be the voice of the constituents within your area, within your district. Would you please tell our guest where exactly this area would be located at, and when, in anticipation to voting time, when that would be occurring, when your name would appear on the ballot?
Sure. Just the new redrawn District 33 covers parts of Irving, Texas, Grand Prairie, Texas, and Dallas. It's a very, very large part of Dallas. Voting will be March 3rd.
Okay. So we're anticipating this to be the primary of 2026. I worked a little bit in the office for the Harris County Republican Party as the primary deputy director in 2022. And one of the things that I noticed was a lot of our constituents would wait till election day to actually go and vote. I always like to emphasize, if you know and you've done your research and you vetted your candidate, go out and vote early. I want to say that starts maybe late February leading into early March.
Right. Yeah.
Are What would you encourage people to do in order to find out who is Mr. Kurt? Is there maybe a website that you could refer people to, or maybe some literature that is being put out in your area? Would you be a little bit more specific on, if somebody wanted to get to know you, what your principles are and what you stand for, how can they find that out?
Absolutely. My website is Kurt, Kurt, Schwab, SCHWAB as in boy, the number 4 Congress.com.
Perfect.
Just like Charles, but no relation. So
And Andy, is it possible maybe to make a mention on our website at www. Saturday Menudo Club, maybe some information or a link or something of that sort, where if our audience, our guests, are hearing this and they want to actually reach out to Mr. Kurt Schwab, is there a way to put that on our website or some information on our website?
So the video is going to be there. If you have a flyer or something, we'll be glad to post it at the site as well. I was curious, what made you decide to run for Congress?
I just like helping people, and the way our country is being led with these ridiculous Democrats.
What are some of the issues down there in Dallas that you're dealing with?
Uh, Immigration is always the thing for everybody. Um, we should not be arresting and releasing. We need to arrest the illegals. We need to process them and send them back. End of story. And that would help cut a lot of the spending.
There was a conversation that I had earlier today, and the best way that I can describe my point of view to someone who is pro open borders, and unfortunately, I don't think they captivate how dangerous that can be. Um, an example that I give the person that I was speaking with earlier was, do you lock your doors at night? Do you latch them and lock them and make sure that your home is secure? I said, because if you do, I said, on a larger scale, that is what a border is meant to do. It's meant to keep the bad guys out. It's meant to keep our sovereignty in our nation. And I love that. I love that you will have that as one of your highlighted speaking points, is we need to keep our country safe. We need to keep our country secure.
Absolutely.
And if we lose Texas is the last frontier. Other states look upon us as the last frontier to keep law and order in our country. I say people consider the United States the light of the world. Well, Texas is the light for the United States. We have to stay strong. We have to stay safe. And one of the things that I mainly emphasize is we need a strong border. So other than a strong border, what else can you tell us on your priorities for speaking when you come out and you want people to know who you are and what principles you stand for?
One of the big things that I'm focusing on up here is economic renewal up here in the Dallas area. We grow jobs by growing freedom and not bureaucracy. Some of the things we need to do is we need to cut wasteful federal spending and be able to pass a balanced budget. That's a big point. We also need to bring the deficit I'd like to bring the deficit below $1 trillion by 2030 through growth and discipline. So we need to tighten the belt. The Democrats didn't even wear a belt. So we need to tighten the belt and get back to business. And another thing is something that will help us is securing the Latino vote. Our Latino American vote is very crucial to our future. They empower young Latino Americans with entrepreneurial programs to become a better version of themselves so they can lead a better life and make more money. It's more than money by developing trade skills so our Latino Americans can experience what it means to be a part of a free market, which is crucial in our young voters' lives in today's world.
Absolutely.
We want them to make their own moves and stand on their own 2 feet, which, as we know, we call that financial freedom. So by inspiring our young Latino Americans to be entrepreneurs, it helps contribute to the quality of life in District 33 alone. And, that goes back to supporting small business, supporting local business, creating more jobs or better jobs. And the young Latinos have a great opportunity to do that. However, we need, as adults, we need to help them. We need to mentor them to help them create a better life for themselves.
I'm so very happy that you brought this topic up. 2024 was a pivotal point of the Hispanic vote coming out and voting conservative for not only Donald Trump, who's president now, but the Latino vote carried a lot of our conservative incumbents that are currently in office, both local, state, and federal. Our culture as Hispanic Latino is very much aligned with what a conservative Republican would stand for. And there's a lot of misconception that needs to be clear. And that's why I think it's very crucial for messaging like you have just done and the gathering of community that the Saturday Menudo Club brings within the community. It is very crucial to keep the momentum going to continue to elect conservative Republicans, it being into office for a local, state position or federal position. The midterms are crucial. It's crucial because it will carry out President Trump's his term in the second half. And so we have to emphasize how important it is to keep the momentum going for the Hispanic vote. I know, Andy, when, you created this idea of the Saturday Menudo Club a few years ago, we started with just a handful of people, but we've seen the movement. We've seen the hunger for information. And I do thank you, Mr. Kurt, because you bring that to the table and you lay it out and you have acknowledged the power that the Latino vote brings. And it can carry candidates like yourself that align with our morals, our values, our ideas. Those are the kind of candidates that we need to push, promote, and continue to support.
Yeah, running for office, when I say giving me a bigger stage, bigger platform to help more people, I'm not categorizing people. That's not what this is about. The Latino community is huge, especially here in the Dallas area. And one thing that I will do is I want to work with Latinos for America First. They will. I'm not Latino, so I don't know everything, but that gives me the opportunity to learn and create a better path for these young Latino folks that want to do something for themselves. It's very important. And not only the young Latino folks, the young folks, period.
I
in
won't say my
today's,
age, but I started my political career just a few years ago, and it's never too late to get involved. My parents
no,
are in their early 70s, and they're currently working the election. We have an election here in Harris County right now, and they're currently election workers.
sure.
So it's never, if you're young at heart and young at mind, nothing is off limits. So I'm glad you say that.
I, I will tell you this. I went to a campaign kickoff for another candidate for District 32, and we met a young man who was in high school,
Hmm.
18 years old. So out of the blue, 2 days later, I get a text message from him. He's wanting to help with my campaign. I think
Fantastic.
that is tremendous.
Yes.
I wish a lot of the younger kids would jump on board. It's a great learning tool for them. They're just not gophers. you
Yes.
know, we need to teach the younger folks what the election's about, how they can do it, because maybe they want to run. Maybe we'll inspire them to run for office at some point.
I love that. I love that. Igniting that passion. And you're right. It's starting from very young and going up. Example, my parents in their 70s, and they have that passion in them that they want to contribute as their civil duty, anything they can. So I love that. I wanted to touch on something that's happening right now within our country. It necessarily across the country, there's a lot of talk about the government shutdown. What is your take on that? What do you think, if you were in office now, what would you have done, either pro or con, to the government shutdown that's occurring right now?
Well, first of all, we are not going to bow to the Democrat needs or wants.
Hmm.
That's not who Republicans are. We need to continue on fighting for what will be right for all Americans, not just Republicans. So that would be my first thing. Is I would lead,
Hmm.
follow, or get out of the way. That was our little slogan in basic training. I would jump up and lead this group and fight as hard as I could to get the Democrats to back down.
Great. Yeah, we need um, politicians in there that actually fight for their constituents. So um, that's great. I know a lot of people right now are um, they're spreading misinformation. They're spreading information that is false. One of the things that I try to do as a community activist is I just try to inform people. I give them sources to look for or refer to. One of our things and within the Saturday Menudo Club is we want our youth to get involved, just as we've just talked about previously. Andy, I know me and you have discussed ways to fundraise to get scholarships for students that may be in school, that may be wanting to go to college. But there's so much good that can come from a small club like us, or so much good that could come from a person in Congress that will fight for their community. And I sense that from you. You, like we've talked about, you've served in the military, you've done some police work, and now you're running for Congress. Tell us, what can people do to help you either donate or fundraise, or like you just mentioned, this young a boy who reached out to you. Is there a message that you want our audience to hear that may be local in Dallas or maybe outside of Dallas, but how can they help contribute to your campaign?
If people want to help or contribute, obviously the website Kurt Schwab, the number 4 Congress.com. When you go to the website, you'll see a phone number. That is my personal cell number. And I
Your
did
personal
that
number.
personal number, and I did that for a reason, Carmen. A lot of politicians want to push everything off to their managers or their office folks or
Mhm.
campaign people, whatever. But I believe a person that is running for office should be available for the American people that he's running for in the district. Whether you live in the Dallas area or Fort Worth area or anywhere in Texas. If you believe and like what people like what you read or believe in what I'm running for, then and you want to help by doing a fundraiser, reach out to us. It doesn't matter if you're in Houston or Austin or Galveston. Uh, we're here because we want to hear the people's voice, period.
Wow. That's amazing that you have your personal cell phone number on there. That really just goes to show how you really want to connect with the community and hear their voices and be their voices. What would you say, upcoming primary time, would you want people to help in your campaign, maybe block walk for you, or maybe, I know there's a lot of times candidates or people in office don't know that there could be people that could be assigned to a polling location that just gives out literature for you. Would that be something that you might want to say, you could come to the campaign, you can help me block walk, or you can help me be at a poll? Are those positions that you are willing to open up to people in your community or in your district?
Absolutely. And all that's on the website to register. We do have a director of volunteers and events. And it was kind of funny when I hired her on for that position. She goes, "Oh, I'm your Dove, Director of Volunteers and Events, DOVE."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
she's a great person. Her husband is volunteering. Her husband has been doing our website as a volunteer. One other thing I want to tell you that I think is crucial. I have been told by a business owner who's a union printer.
Okay.
I am the only Republican in the area that has ever reached out to them to print my material. So all of our material will now have the union bug on it.
Wow.
And that's going to be big, especially with the unions getting behind us. Yeah, it's so big. I don't even know how to, think of it yet.
Well, I could definitely tell you, you are a man of the people. I keep on hearing the theme where you are out there. You're not sending, someone who is not connected to, how can I say this? Just you're out there. You got your personal cell phone out there. You got, information where people could contact you directly. And that does amaze me. I've been around candidates and I've been around officials who have a ladder of people before you can even send an email to them. So that's truly shows the character. Andy, do you have anything to follow up with?
Yeah, several points. Yeah, I remember working with some candidates. They would not talk to someone because they didn't felt they thought that they weren't high enough. So there's a little bit of haughtiness and arrogance that sometimes comes with this. So as y'all were talking, Carmen, I was thinking about Charlie Kirk. We're talking about different communities, right, that are praying, hardworking folks. So as I look at the Hispanic community at large, I heard it said that the Hispanic community were conservative. Before conservative was cool. I remember my grandmother praying over me. She always had food on the stove for guests. They were all about hardworking. And my grandfather was a crew leader on a chop cotton crew, so he's very entrepreneur. When they first got married, chopping wood when they had wood stoves. He actually guarded World War II German POWs in College Station when they came through College Station, if you can believe that. Then he worked at Sabisa Hall at A&M. And so there's a long current of education, of veteran service, prayer. But that is the America. I mean, I identify as American first, right, with Hispanic heritage, probably from Spain and Mexico. First to graduate from Texas A&M in college, so we definitely value the youth and want to inspire. And I think we see our role as facilitating. We can't do everything, but by us having this conversation, we can inspire the community to think about, hey, you know what? And not just for college, but for vocation. I mean, you got a lot of vocations that are in need, from plumbing to electricity to roofing, you name it, military service. So we do work a lot with the veteran community, Carmen and I. I worked a lot with the American Legion and the Marine Corps League. They're not supposed to get into politics, but a lot of these issues were national security. They were Americanism. They were veterans rehabilitation, not politics, but national security issues. So definitely entrepreneurship. Teach a man to fish or a lady to fish. Like we don't get to champion that enough, right? So the Veterans Chamber here in Houston, hopefully we can export it to Dallas through your influence. I know that Dave Weaver down here has been going back and forth to DC to get some legislation created to support the veteran community. Because Kurt, that the military does a great job of spitting out your MOS, whatever it is you're going to be. You're going to be a Marine, a Navy SEAL, you're going to be a C-130 loader, right? They do that very well. But then what? Right. And same thing with school.
Yeah.
They don't say, hey, you know what? You could start a business, or hey, you could be a plumber and start a business that way and have a very, very successful life. So we thank you for that sharing of information. And I think I got it all. Family. Any other takeaways you want to say? I know I hear your heart, pro-America, pro-patriot. I voted for Trump in 2016. I lost a lot of friends, a lot of family, but I gained so much more. So there's been this separation, but thankfully we do see, I think, America's waking up. And so our message to those people that are catching up, because there's a lot of them are catching up to something that we've already been a part of for a while. This flame, it's America 250 that's coming onto the scene, right? We got the golden era that's happening. So what do you have to say about the spirit of resilience that's coming? And I think you're going to make a difference there in Dallas.
I think the game is just getting warmed up. And we come in March. Well, actually, we'll know everything on what's going on. Hopefully, no later than December 9th, because the close of filing is December 8th at 6 p.m. A couple of things I want to mention is back to the young folks. If you're in college and you want to do an internship, let's talk. We can talk about social media. We can talk poli-sci students, whatever. Come talk to us. The other thing I want to mention too is November 13th at the Wild Turkey in Dallas. That is our campaign kickoff. And by the way, Andy and Carmen, that morning we will be filing to be on the ballot. I know a lot of people are trying to do signatures, but again, I'm a person that believes if you're going to run for office to help support your community, I believe you should go all in and pay the fee and be done with it. I know that going out there with a clipboard and talking to people is one aspect of looking at it. However, there's a lot of caveats to that. Are they registered? Or do they even live in the district? Do they, all kinds of stuff. So you basically have to get triple the amount of signatures that are required to hopefully get the minimum amount needed. So, we've
Excellent point, Kurt. You read my mind. I was going to ask you that particular question. There is petitions that go around, but you run the risk of, just like you mentioned, there's not enough signatures that get marked off because they're invalid. So paying a filing fee shows 1,000% how committed you are to this.
Right.
And I appreciate that, honestly, because it just shows you're ready to go full steam ahead. Like a strong locomotive, just ready to just go down and take care of business. And I love that. It says a lot about you.
Well, thank you. I believe in God. I grew up Catholic, went to religion school on Saturday mornings. My older brother, back in the 90s, gave me a St. Michael necklace, and I've never taken it off. One of his old friends in St. Louis gave me a little medal, and it's got an angel on it that I've kept in my wallet from the day that they gave it to me. So, I'm a full believer in God. And sometimes I sit on the couch and I just talk out loud saying, God, this seems like it's going too good, but I need your help, support. So
Amen.
Because he's the leader of all.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I'm a strong believer that even at this day and age, Jesus Christ, the Word of God, is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And he uses people as warriors for his missions. And Andy, I think that's one of your logos, isn't it? On mission.
It's on
Um,
my shoulder here, but I also have a
yeah.
tattoo to bear. But the mission is the Great Commission.
So this is our day and time, right? I believe that just as Moses and just as David and so many other courageous warriors that fought the fight and they won because we have an anointing. This is our time, and God bless you and God bless your campaign. I wish you the best. Again, your information will be on our website, which is www.saturdaymenudoclub.com. We also have a Facebook page, the Saturday Menudo Club. And I invite you, Kurt, and I invite anyone who is listening to this podcast. We have a great source of networking with our sister clubs. Actually, one of our sister clubs, and you mentioned the name, just a few minutes ago, Latinos for America First, Bianca Gracia. I know she started out at the same time that Andy started out, because Andy, you were involved with this
2016.
a few years ago, but there's so many others, Veterans for America First. It's just a great resource that you can find on our website. We do have an active calendar as well. It shows events that we are hosting at the Saturday Menudo Club. It also shows events that our sister clubs are participating in, and we upload that information. So any of the guests or anyone who wants to find out how they could be a part of something bigger could go on there, and it has contact information. It has information on these events. So I do invite you, Kurt, and I invite anyone listening to please go on there and just look at the website. Maybe there's a form of information, a phone number or a website that may help you in the direction that you're seeking. So God bless you. Andy, do you want to add anything to that?
Let's go ahead and close out. So thank you, Mr. Kurt Schwab, for attending the Saturday Menudo Club ZoomCast, which is better than a podcast, by the way. It's a ZoomCast. So again, our tagline is Ya no mas, which means we've had it up to here, no more. God bless you all. You've been watching the Saturday Menudo Club.